Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be using this inspired by stamping stamp set. I will be creating this bouquet of florals. I wanted to share with you how I made this cute card. I'll be doing some masking, and for the tutorial purposes I just gonna be using this Canson 160 GSM watercolor paper, but I previously stamped out my florals on the 300 GSM watercolor paper. So what I did first is I stamped out this floral image on my post-it note so that I have a little bit of the sticky side to my flowers, my masks. And now I will be using VersaFine Onyx Black ink to stamp out the flowers. I'm using VersaFine ink because I will be using watercolor pens, and this ink is perfect for watercoloring or with this the Stabilo pens that I'll be using. So I stamped out my first flower. I usually like to start from the left and then build up my whole crown of flowers. So I'm using the mask, and now I'll be continuing stamping. I find that kind of best and most symmetrical to go from left to right and so on and so on. But you can also start from the middle, stamp the middle flower first and then go around it. Just keep in mind that your flowers will be kind of the crown for the vase that you will stamp last. So now I'm just gonna leave you so you can watch how I do the masking, and I'll catch up with you where I will be coloring. So now I'm stamping out the vase, and I will be using tweezers actually to pick up the masks. The reason for that is because when I was using my fingers I kind of could have smudged the ink. VersaFine takes a little longer to dry because it's a pigment ink. So at this point you could totally color in that image that we stamped out and use some watercolor to create the base for it, but I decided that I would cut out the crown, all these florals separately and the vase separately, and to give it a little bit more dimension. And now I'm going over the edges of the image with my Tuxedo Black watercolor marker. And now for the coloring, I'll be using Stabilo 68 pens. I'm stirring them in this cute cup with Petit Nicolas. Maybe some of you have read this book. It's about the little boy and his adventures. And I will be using reds, oranges and yellows for the florals. The card I'm making in this video is actually an inspiration for this week's Addicted to Stamps and More, where our inspiration is a photo with colorful florals. I'll put the link in the description below if you would like to join in the challenge. And so now I'm coloring. I'm basically starting with the darkest around the center, and then I blend out the colors using brighter colors. With these pens, I think it's best to use circular motion, but on the thick watercolor paper like 300 GSM, I found that it sometimes doesn't really matter because they blend really well. Because the ink sits on top of the paper, it blends really well. So here I'm just gonna do 3 colors of flowers. I'm gonna go for red, yellow and orange. So now I colored in all the florals. I will color the vase, and this time I'm actually gonna do some watercoloring. I'm scribbling off on my acrylic block some of the pigment from the pen. I'm gonna use blue color for the vase, and I'm coloring it in using my paintbrush. For the card base, I'm using Nina Desert Storm 100 pound cardstock, and now I will be using some pattern paper to create the kind of wallpaper in the room and then the table, because that's what I kind of was going for here. I wanted to create the illusion of the table, or rather tablecloth, and I went for this stripy background to kind of resemble the wallpaper. And now I also decided that I need a little cup of tea on the table, so I'm gonna stamp on this pattern paper a little teacup and a saucer using Memento Tuxedo Black, and then I will cut it out. I will also stamp out the little spoon on a white cardstock, and I will color that in using my Pro markers. After that, I will be stamping out one of the banners from Lawn Fawn stamp set as well. And I will, for the sentiment, I will actually be using Gina K Designs stamp set. And the sentiment says, wishing you happiness. So this will be actually a birthday card. And this stamp set is actually called 1 in a Million. I then colored in the area of the teacup with my brown Copic marker so that it looks like there's tea in the cup. And now I'll be using my glossy accents and some foam squares to adhere the vase, the flowers, and the other little elements. I added some foam squares to the top of the cup so to give it a little bit more dimension, and I did the same with the vase and the flowers. All of them I actually added thicker adhesive, thicker than the vase and then the cup. And with the wishing you happiness sentiment, with the banner, I went in with the glossy accents in the middle, and I popped both sides on the foam squares to add dimension. to finish off the card, I added some glossy accents over the T area in the cup, and that was it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you liked the card, and I hope you will join us down at Addicted to Stamps and More. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great and crafty day. Bye!